what kinds of like sexual issues do people have that they don't realize they need therapy for?
I'm gonna speak for the guys. So on this one, first and foremost, we have to make sure that we have insurance, right? So we can get to a therapist or some help, so we can make sure that we can maintain the therapeutic health. Not only that, but the health part of it too, right? Our dicks ain't gonna, it's not gonna work as long as we like it to, for the most part. It's just not, we're on borrowed time. So, so get the most out of that thing you can until you can't, right? But the sticking point to that too is pleasure is always gonna offer itself up to us fellas, whether it's working or not. But we also have to make sure that as far as black men, heart health is definitely something that we're aware of, because that's something that really, and diabetes, that's something that's really killing us, through our diet, through our lifestyle, going to churches or whatever it is, how we're eating, how we're not eating. We want to make sure that we're getting that done. So ED is something that I'm very afraid of, right? So that's something that I try to be aware of. So I try to make sure that just my caseload with veterans, and also just with friends and family, people come to me all the time now. When I'm working with them, I don't just talk about health, I talk about health and sexual health practices, right? You may go to a therapist where they just want to talk about your family and all this stuff in the past, and maybe get to the sexual stuff later. But you want to get to the good stuff right then and there. So when it comes to therapy, make sure you have somebody that speaks to your language and can operate from a past and sexual therapy aspect at the same time, not just one or. So there's that if you ever step into a sex therapist's office. And then something that is, I think, very important for our men is just make sure, again, you know how to ask questions, and that's really about it. Just fleeting thoughts, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. For number one, I want to point out what a sex therapist is, right? A sex therapist is someone who has a specialty to include comprehensive health. And the reason that's comprehensive health is that we are more than just checking our blood pressure, just many different things. We are more than that as human beings, and sexuality is infused and impacts a whole lot. And it's not just about, right? It's also about, how can I communicate about consent, permission? This is the stuff that I work with. I had a young lady that I work with today, and she came in because, she had this anxiety. She didn't know where it was, and she says, "You're the first person who asked me about sex." Mm-hmm. And so here's what's going on with me and my boyfriend. He's forcing an orgasm on me. It hurts, but he's still forcing his penetrative sex. He's not listening to me. It's like he has short-term memory. And all of that is what has created some of her depression and anxiety. And so sexuality has certain where we were violated or where we were uplifted. We led with getting people with an orgasm, or we have had no orgasms ever in our life. We don't know what pleasure is. And so some of the things that help with mental health and sexuality is understanding how they interplay, how they intersect, and how they impact each other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And make sure, you have a question?
Okay, yeah, I do, but